Hello, YouTubers. It's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach. And if you have not been here before, I talk about money related things, but sometimes I talk about something that has nothing to do with money. But today I am going to be talking about my spending for January. January is low spend, no spend, and I think I did pretty good with that. But I wanted to go over what my spending was, kind of what I budgeted and what I spent, and I was under in some and over in others. So anyway, food, I spent $186.57. I budget $175, so I did go a bit over there. Miscellaneous, I also budget $175 for that. I went $107.63, so I'm under there. Gas, $90, budget $150, I'm under for that. Utilities, now utilities, if you look right over here, my utility bill includes water, trash, sewer, and electricity. So my total for my utilities was $309.45, which to me, I really don't think that's that bad considering I'm paying 4 bills in that. It's really not that bad. I would say my average is $250, but I can be lower than that in certain months, spring, fall, when we're not using heat or air conditioning. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Car insurance, $153.32. I actually took my car, I don't have full coverage on it anymore. It's got 200,000 miles on it. It's 13 years old. I'm not going to carry full coverage, so I lowered my monthly from like $125 to $50 some. It was amazing. And so anyway, the $153.32 is basically paying my car insurance up till the April 26th. So I'm not going to have any insurance to pay for the next 2 months, which is kind of nice because next month I have some things that I'm paying for in February that I don't normally have. So that kind of offsets that. Subscriptions, that's Netflix, the streaming services. I pay $20.96 total for the different ones that I have. Giving, I gave $50 to a church that I went to with my son. It was really cool. I really like that church. Restaurant, the only thing that I did as far as restaurant this month, because I didn't have lunch with either of my friends that I have lunch with at least monthly usually, it was Subway. For my son's birthday, I just went and got Subway and we ate Subway. I did go to a really cool restaurant called Twisted Tavern with my son after church, but he was paying for that. All I did was pay the tip, which was $10, and I put that into my miscellaneous. My mortgage is $572. I just got my statement the other day, and I am at a balance of probably around $49,000 and some change on the mortgage on my house, which, as far as mortgages go, it's really not very much. It's a pretty low mortgage, and it reflects that in my payment. And that is insurance and principal, interest, and insurance. So, my phone, I paid for a year with Mint Mobile. So that averages out to 20. I think it's 20. But I paid it for a whole year, so I don't have that bill every month. My IRA, I do $600 a month right now. Some of you have probably heard financial experts talk about dollar cost averaging, but a lot of times they don't say what that is. Dollar cost averaging is basically putting the same amount of money every month month after month after month, year after year after year, into an investment account. That is dollar cost averaging. My internet, I had to throw that in there, I almost forgot, $59 a month. So basically my grand total is $2,168.93 spending for the month of January, which really isn't that bad. It really isn't that bad at all. The other really cool thing that happened, it's kind of my deal of the week, is Tom and I went to Costco on Monday, and he was looking for a small saucepan for his soup that he eats every night, and the saucepan that he had was a little too big, so he wanted a smaller one. So anyway, we go into that aisle in Costco, and we ended up finding a set of the small saucepan, and then this 3.5 quart pot. It's got the lid and everything, and it's kind of cool because I have a pot like this, but it's really big. I don't need one that big. If I had, my husband and 3 kids, yeah, I would need one that big. But for just me, for me to do pasta or something like that, this is perfect. And the brand name of this is Tramontina. It's a good brand, very hefty. But because he bought this set, he gave me that pot. So I ended up with a free pot. Very exciting. Didn't pay anything for that. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, but I am also here to talk about budgets. Last week I talked about emergency fund. I'm basically talking about the basics, because this is the start of a new year, and I think at the beginning of the year it's always good to get back to basics. And I talked about the emergency fund, how important that is, and all the purposes for that. But a budget is something that will give you such control over your money and over your spending. If you don't have a budget and you don't write down what you're spending, you will have no idea. You will have no idea how much money is going out the door. And the next thing that we'll talk about next week is debt. And you can't even begin to start to pay off debt. You can't even start to pay off debt until you know where your money is going and you know your budget. Now, it's going to take about 3 months of tweaking, because at first you're going to think, oh yeah, this is how much I need for food. This is how much I want for this. Well, after you've tracked your money for a month, you'll find out that some of those amounts are not going to be correct. So the next month, you tweak it a little bit. So usually by the time you're to month 3, you're getting a really good sense of where your money should go, how much should be in each category. Budgeting apps like EveryDollar is very good. It actually has all of these categories, and I got to tell you that if you're just sitting down with paper and pencil and you're trying to write down your categories, there could be some that you just kind of forget about. And when you have an app like this, it lays out so many of them that you're like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. So it helps you. And then there's going to be categories in there that you don't need, and you can take them out of there. You don't have to leave them in there. You can take them out. Like, I think there was one for childcare or daycare. Well, if you don't have kids, my kids are grown. I don't have that, so I took that out of there. You can customize it to your specific situation. So it takes a while, takes about 3 months, but giving every dollar a name and knowing where it's going. The thing is when you have this app, you can enter everything in there manually, which is how I do it, because when you do that, you have to open up the app, you have to put it in. I like to physically do that. You can, a lot of these apps, you can just hook it up to your checking account, and then it will enter those things for you. I think that can be a bit dangerous because you don't have to take the app out and look at it, and you could forget about it. And then all of a sudden you take it out and you're like, oh my gosh, I budgeted $300 for food and we've spent $400. If any of you watch Financial Audit, Caleb Hammer, he's amazing. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like him because he's very straight with people. And one of the things that he tells people is the money that came in, how much money he would ask the person or the couple, whoever he's talking to, he would ask them, how much do you think went out? They have no idea. They think they spent every dollar that came in. Turns out they spent more. They spent more. They put stuff on credit cards. They spent way over. And the thing is when your paycheck comes in, however much that is a month, that is your means. That is what you have to pay your bills. If you spend more than that, you're living above your means. If you spend less than that, you're living below your means. But that money that comes in every month is what you have. Now, if you spend every dime and you have not saved anything, that's not good. You have to have money put aside every month, because if you don't, that's where the whole emergency fund comes from. You have to have money left over to be able to take that money and put it into the savings account and build that up. If you spend every dime that comes in or more on stuff, you won't have anything. And you will be in a bad way. You lose your job. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to live on? If you have credit cards, I have 2 credit cards. One credit card, I have a credit limit of $10,000. I really ought to cut that down because I've never been anywhere close to that. But God forbid I ever had a credit card that had $10,000 on it. Do you realize how long it would take to pay that off? With the interest rates? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So the emergency fund is number 1. Budget is number 2. Number 3 is debt. In the Bible, it says, owe no man anything. And I have to tell you, the only thing that I owe for is my house. And my house has a mortgage of $49,000. I don't like having that. I'd love to have a paid off house too. And I'm working toward that. But I don't want to owe anybody anything. I really don't. I do use my PNC credit card for getting gas because I get 4% cash back, but then I pay it by the end of the month. I've never paid interest on that card. Never. That's the thing. Oh, my money market account. You know, you get everything for taxes and all that. Well, turns out, last January, I started my money market account, and I earned almost $500 in interest. That's money paid to me. That's not me paying somebody else, some credit card company. You don't want to pay. That is how they stay in business. Do you know if everybody in the United States had credit cards and paid them in full at the end of the month, the credit card companies could not stay in business. The whole reason that they stay in business is because all of these people are in debt and they're being charged 27% interest. It's crazy. It is crazy. And believe me, I've been there. I have been with no emergency fund. I have had a car breakdown that was $700 and some that we didn't have. But I had a credit card. I could pay for it. And that made me feel good that I could pay for it. But then I was paying and paying and paying. I felt good at the time because I thought, okay, we need the car. We can't get around if we don't have the car. We have to get the car fixed. This allows us to get the car fixed. It was very, very hard to try to get a savings account. It was very, very hard. And I mean, I am sitting here by myself, just me. I can choose to spend money. I can choose not to spend money. I am not in a household where there is someone else spending money. So this is easy for me to say. Let me say that. This is easy for me to say because I am accountable only to me. When you are married and you have kids and they need this and they need that and they are eating and I mean this, a budget, you can feel like a budget is overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. But I think maybe get your kids involved, especially if they're teenagers or they're 10, maybe if they're 10 years old and up, get them involved, you know. You start paying off debt, get them involved, you know. Some parents don't like their kids to know all that kind of stuff. I know my mom and dad definitely did not. There were so many things that we didn't know, but looking back, I wish that we had, because maybe we would have learned. And you know, if you learn to budget, you know, get the emergency fund, budget, pay off debt, this is wonderful teaching to teach your kids. If they see you do it, they know it can be done. And then they will do it too. Because a lot of times when people grow up and they have the feelings that they have about money, a lot of times what's going on in here has everything to do with how they grew up. If they grew up with a lot, if they grew up with a little, if they, you know, there are times where, yes, it does go way back. And, you know, when I was married, me and my father of my children, we did not do it right. We didn't know. There were so many things we didn't know. And if we had known, we would have done better. And so this is just getting back to the basics of the budget. You can call it a spending plan, you know? Conscious spending plan. You could do that. You don't have to call it a budget. I don't really like the word budget. Spending plan is good. It is planning your spending. It doesn't sound restrictive like a budget does. But I don't know. It will give you peace when you know, hey, this amount of money we can spend here. So then when you're spending that money and you're staying within that budget, you actually don't feel guilty because you budgeted for it. It's like, well, I feel bad. You know, there are some people who can't spend any money at all. That's not good. That's not good. It is okay to spend money. It really is. And if you're within the budget, you don't have to feel guilty about it, and you can actually feel very in control. So it's a good thing. It is. It's a good thing. So anyway, start a budget. Find an app. Every dollar is good. If there's a free one. There's another one that, like I mentioned, Financial Audit. He's come out with one, you know. So it's got to be good. I would think it's good. But anyway, like I always say, well, like, subscribe, share. I so appreciate every one of you who has watched this video, got value from it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But like I always say, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Till next time. Bye.